That's a little epic. That's a little epic. No pressure. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Arts of the Round Table. My name is Mello, and this is Re-Entry Monday. We're just going to keep the ball rolling. I have been trying to stay busy. I've been trying to get more confident and just what is happening here? Give me 1 second, y'all. Oof. Hearing myself for some reason. Anyway, yeah, so let's do this, huh? Let me move this so you guys can see a little bit better. But anyway, today I'm going to be continuing, or starting to, ink this Battlestar Barbarian piece I did just out of fun, just out of appreciation for what these two guys have been doing, Gabe Osley and Stefan Rexeidler. So let's just get to it. Nova Draws, how you doing, man? Welcome. Welcome. Move this over. I am going to just lock some stuff down. It doesn't matter. Every time I think I'm ready, I'm never really ready. Jay Neer, how are you? Let me move this over. I don't want to make any mess. So, I got my water for my ink. I'm going to be using, I got a little bit of isopropyl alcohol here. What the heck? Hold on a second. It's a little too epic for me right now just for mixing some inks. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to use some of this Japanese calligraphy ink. A few droplets. And I'm going to mix it with the New York Central Art Supply India ink. I really like the deep inky black of the Japanese calligraphy pen. All right, let me make sure that's white. But how you guys doing? I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Let me know if you did anything, and let me know if you didn't do anything. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh. Get my supplies here. I didn't need the syringe after all. I'll use it later to put my ink back. Put that there. Whenever I have loose ink like that, it just makes me nervous because I feel like I'm going to spill stuff. 100% chance I'm going to spill something. All right. I'm using my Winsor Newton Series 7 number 2 brush. And I have the number 3 there, but I think I'm going to stick to the number 2 for now. I don't know if I'm going to be doing large swatches in this one. I think I'm going to work mostly on the bottom part of the page. It has smoother lines, not a lot of opportunity to do much etching except for the suit, some of the detail here, and the rocks and that. I'm really looking forward to doing the text. Let me mix this. I'm just going to give my ink a bit of a stir. Make sure everything is how it's supposed to be. All right. Okay. Shall we? We shall. So I'm going to start working on the bottom piece. I'm going to try to go left to right because I am a righty. Oh, I like this container. Get a nice little sharp edge. I'm going to try my hardest not to rotate the page, but is going to happen eventually. So I haven't done any warm-up. I was actually fighting from not falling asleep a second ago. So wish me luck. All right. Boom, one line down. Couple hundred more to go. The one thing I do not like about the Japanese calligraphy ink is that it smells. And I think that's a draw for some artists. It's not really a draw for me. But I guess it's a thing. That earthy smell of the ink. It's a selling point. But it is what it is. So just letting you know, this is Bristol Board smooth flavor. Let me move this out the way. Making sure you guys can see everything. That's the most important part for me. That you guys can see everything. Excuse me. Move stuff over. I don't need to see that. So yeah, it smells. Okay, so where was I? The paper. I'm trying to get comfortable with sliding my arm on the page. Trying to get some nice sweeping motions. And just for full disclosure, if you guys are on my horizontal stream, you'll see that I am using this Conan, this old Conan the Barbarian cover as reference for some pieces, for most of it actually. But I'm trying to maintain my own flavor here. Is this ink water solvable or permanent? It is permanent. It is waterproof ink. Hopefully when it dries, it will never have to risk getting it watery. But yeah, this is waterproof ink, which is what you want to use. It's what I prefer, especially if you, like me, you have other techniques after. Like if I wanted to paint this, I need to really make sure that it's water soluble. I'm sorry, waterproof. Because I use gessos. So even if it wasn't, I use fixative to maintain the integrity of the inks. But yeah. Long answer short, waterproof ink. You can get some before putting it on paper. You can dilute it with water to create some washes. What brand is it? I can never find permanent Japanese ink. Sure, I'll show you in a second. This is going to be interesting here. And I'll go through my Amazon. First of all, now you got me curious if I even did order the right ink, but yeah. did very little drawing over the weekend. Just some light sketches, but what I was able to do Friday was enough that I still feel some pretty good control over the brush. And it looks like the alcohol and maybe the mix of both inks is really helping me here with the flow. All right, give me a second. Let me wash my brush and I'll show you in a second. Do I have a favorite Conan artist right now? Is Buscema. I know most people would say Frank Frazetta, but Frazetta for me is the quintessential, what am I looking for? Cover artist. By the time he was doing the Conan covers, he wasn't doing any interiors as far as I know. But the closest in terms of energy and that iconic Conan look, it's Buscema. If you want to freeze frame, take a picture of that, you could. And you can do a Google reverse search for this brand. Or later on, while this is moving and grooving, while I finish this, I can go into my history, my order history, and I'll find you the correct name for it. Actually, I ordered it a while ago, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it so quickly. But man, for you, my homie, just give me one brief moment. Let me see if I can find it. I think I bought it this year, so it should be easy enough to find. Maybe. I'm always trying to find. I was looking for inks that could replace my Doc Martens India ink. I love Doc Marten. I would rather use Doc Marten. I guess I ordered it last year. I'd rather use Doc Marten, but it gets a little expensive. And I'm frugal. I'm not working, so I have to make sure that my supplies last a bit more. And when I started to get comfortable, I was using a lot more ink. And as you can tell, Doc Marten is a small jar like this. And I started to eat through these. What's the Winsor Newton? Here we go. Paint type, versatile, suitable, wide, long, performance. Never run, calligraphy, painting, high quality liquid pigment, spill resistance, easy flow. You know, now it doesn't say that it's waterproof. Huh. Well, I'm glad I didn't spill any water on it. So anyway, here's the link. If you want to check it out. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but it is what I used. Here you go. And you can try it out if you like. I don't know if they sell any smaller. All right. But did I answer your question? Yeah, Buscema. There are other great artists. Ernie Chan that I've been discovering as I've been going through my Conan phase here, my barbarian phase. Ernie Chan is a fantastic artist in his own right. I don't know if the companies were requesting these artists to draw a certain way. So it's possible Oh, there seems to be a little bit too much water in my brush. So Ernie Chan is a great artist. Alfredo Alcala is another that I discovered after the fact. Of course, Barry Windsor Smith did a bunch of amazing pieces. And I think really allowed his own style to shine. Again, when Frazetta did his Conan covers and pieces, it really revolutionized the way people started to see that character, and they cribbed his style a lot. They still do to this day. You know, who wouldn't? Shoot, I would. I have some marks here that I'm going to have to rotate. And I think when I cleaned my brush, I introduced too much water and I didn't wipe it down enough. So I'm going to have to do some extra layering up here. If I am going to rotate, I'll try to rotate slowly enough so it won't be discombobulating. Neil Adams, oh yeah. Neil Adams is fantastic. Yeah, he's one of my favorites, Neil Adams. I like him because he did a lot of tracing. He was an amazing artist, but he did a lot of tracing, and I like that. I like that he as an artist, he wasn't so into himself to say, "Oh, I don't trace, I don't copy, I don't do this, that, and the other." No, he did on certain things, and he didn't hide from it. And he was a bit of a rock star. If you get an opportunity, there aren't that many, but check out some his interviews online. I want to give myself enough space to. He's the reason why I bought the. Is that right? You was able to meet him? That's really cool. I haven't met many real life artists or living on it artists, except for Jim Rugg. He was down in Jacksonville doing a fanzine convention. I think I would have loved to have met, well, seen him. Yeah, Neil Adams, and from what I've seen in the interviews and stuff that I was able to find about him, because that's what I end up doing. If there's an artist that I really dig in, I try to go in there and find as many interviews with them as possible. Gunplayer, how you doing? Gunplay Freeham, I have to thank you. You've been supportive for a while, man. I gotta thank you. I hope you know that it's not unnoticed. So thank you. And it's good to see you. Oh, I forget what I was. I lost my train of thought now. Oh yeah, Neil Adams. Listening to him talk about using the brush and using the tools the way he does. He doesn't ink the way I do. He doesn't ink pressed against his knuckle the way I do. He inks with the tips of his fingers. But I don't know if he would do brushwork. He mentioned it in the interview, but he was using a nib pen. And I think with a nib pen, it might be easier to ink on your fingertips. I don't know how well that would do with a brush. But that's just my lack of understanding and knowledge of it. Which is why I bought these foam pencil holders to help me. This forces you to use very thin your tip of your fingers, but I need to feel contact between brush and paper, so it doesn't always work. Because what I really need to practice on is speed to get a fluid line. One thing he did say was about using your whole shoulder, your whole arm, which is difficult for me because I got bad shoulders. Bad shoulders and weak knees. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's the life of an artist, man. You're always trying to find the rhythms to everything. Pencil strokes, brush strokes, the rhythm to painting or drawing. I gotta flip this. I'm a little bit more comfortable pulling the brush towards me, pulling downwards and away than I am the other way, going up or. I'm trying to be smooth while varying some of the line weight in my hands. There's a trick I learned, or well, I guess I learned about creating interesting line weight. You can use this with nib markers like microns, which have kind of a give to them, to the felt. And it's just simply practicing this move right here. And hopefully you guys can see, and I won't mess up what I'm doing here. And all you're doing is a straight line, either left or horizontally or vertically. And all you're doing is going, applying a bit of pressure and releasing the pressure, meaning putting the brush towards the paper, kind of like in a staccato, in a wave motion. Right? Something like that. And there's a way. So if you're not really concerned about light sources and line weights that in that way, that's a good practice in muscle memory. It's a good practice in brush control. And it allows your lines to be a bit more fluid and not so stiff, unless that's what you want. I like a more lively line, something that goes from a tapered line that goes from thin to thick in one stroke. I know there's some artists that can do this technique using a nib brush, microns. Chuck Gibson is one of them, an amazing artist. He can use nibs, he can use quill pens, crow quills as they call them, and get some amazing varied lines. Also getting, with the same tool, straight mechanical lines. All right, I'm going to wait a bit. When you draw and paint, you have to remind yourself to hold the pencil nib brush lightly. Yeah, I do too. I've been doing it a lot better when I draw with the pencil. When it comes to painting, I'm not as stiff because I'm doing more. I'm not ever really lining my paintings. So I'm a bit loose. I'm a bit looser with my brush strokes. So it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me so. But you know what does happen occasionally is I'll drop my brush. There's a couple of videos where I'll be in the middle of a brush stroke, adjusting my grip, and my brush will just fall right out of my hand. But yeah, you just gotta find the right spot for you. Be comfortable for you. That's all it is. I'm gonna let myself get a little bit more loose in a second there. I'm trying to do all these kind of like smooth tapering lines because I want it to be a complete 180 when it comes to inking this bad boy. Hey, Creative Ambitions, how you doing, Susan? It's good to see you. Yes, I'm a little bit later than usual, and a little bit later and earlier than usual. Loida201 said hello. How you doing? Yeah, my schedule ended up pushing my stream time, which is okay because guys, I was crashing earlier today. And I'm talking about low energy. I'm trying to get the curve here. And the best way I do that is this way. Top down. One second, guys. Oh man. And now it's getting warm in my room. Where was I? Alright, let's do this arm. But yeah, again, I lost my train of thought. It's gonna be like that today. Like I said, I am low energy. I'm hurting for certain. But I hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend. Mine was good. Mainly clean up after myself. Which is if when I'm cleaning my studio here, is usually me moving something from one side to of the room, realizing I might need it, and putting it right back. which is really annoying, and it makes my days longer than they should. I did a lot of smudging, so I'm trying to, when I did the drawing, so a lot of the detail is implied, but I want to show line work and some rendering. When it comes to inking this cleric here. I'm trying not to dwell too much. On the actual art, on my pencils underneath. I'm just so I'm moving quickly on some of this stuff here, just so I can stay organic and not so tight. Jason Lussett asks, do I want a challenge? What do you mean, like a breakdance challenge? What are you talking about? Artwork style? Artwork wild? I gotta move this. What do you mean, sir? Jeshua, thank you. This is a blue line copy of my pencil work. If you guys are interested, let me move this because this is in my way. I'll pull out the pencil work so you guys can see if there's any difference. The only thing I added that's not in the original pencil work is this cloak that our hero is chucking off of himself. You can't really see it here because I drew it in pencil, and it kind of blends in with this artwork, this line work. But hopefully I can make a difference when I start inking our hero. All right. And if you give me a moment, I'm going to show you exactly who it is I'm paying homage and respect to. First of all, this cover, this drawing is a homage. It is my take on Conan 38. Sorry. Conan the Barbarian, number 78 from Marvel Comics. The cover was done by John Buscema. And the background, the composition is taken from that image, from that comic cover. But the person that I am drawing is not Conan. He is a character by the name of Battlestar Barbarian, created by these cool indie artists. Gabe Osley, penciler, Steven Rexidler is the inker. I was able to grab a copy of this. These guys are amazing. Make sure here that you take a moment, pause, and check out their links on Instagram. Go to YouTube and check them out, guys. I don't know if I have their YouTubes in here, but it's a great, hilarious funny. It got action galore. It's got aliens. It got babes. It got babies. It got barbarians. If that's your thing, check it out. So that's the cover that I'm using to bridge these two together. Total unanimity. Synergy, man. Synergy. Guys, give me a second. It's hot in my room. I gotta turn on the fan. Creative. This is a Winsor Newton Series 7 brush. And I'm using a mixture of Japanese calligraphy ink and New York Central Art Supply India ink. This is the first time mixing these two together, and I kind of like the flow. I was doing a Judge Dredd inking last week, Friday, and the ink was really, it felt heavy, if that makes sense. And this mixture, with a drop or two of isopropyl alcohol, has allowed some really nice fluidity to the ink. So I'm digging that combo for now. I'm not sure. I didn't really do quite much measuring. But I do really like how the combination so far has allowed the ink to flow and the brush to maintain a really sharp point. Hold on, I gotta hold my breath here for a second. Whew. There's such a way, a beauty of how Buscema and artists like Frank Thorne drew women back then. John Romita. And it's because they used to draw romance novels. A lot of these artists started on romance novels. So, they would draw such beautiful women in those comic books. It's funny to me. I didn't start drawing the female figure as much until I went to college. Because like most kids my age, most dudes my age, when they are drawing comics, we're drawing mainly the dudes. Big, bad superheroes and villains. But if we only just would have studied a bit more our contemporaries, we would have seen that they were drawing the women just as much, if not better. All right. I might wait. Hey, yo, it's Ash. How are you? K-pop junkie. How are you? Thanks for showing. Thanks for hanging. All right, I could be a little bit rough here. Can't have a sharp mace. It has to be brutal and rusty and used. Eating and chilling. That's what's up. Hanging and banging. Hanging and banging. Inking and blinking. I'm silly today. I'm tired. Oddly enough, I woke up really early today. So I am I'm crashing. But it's been a productive day, so. Be drawing those little sections. I gotta make sure I'm still in camera. I have. All right, so this is what I'm messing with. I have a small spike. See that small spike? Ow. Behind the N, the tip of the N there. I don't know whether to put that in front of the N or behind it for some three-dimensionality. But I have a feeling I should put it in front and have the N behind it, in between. So I don't know what to do. The little things, right? Spittle. Yes, I don't know what to do right now. I'm going to use my brush is getting dry and it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Not frayed, because frayed is kind of like as if it was ruined, but it's a little bit rough. And I'm using that to create some texture. I don't know if that'll read, but what I'll do is later is I'll darken up my lines. All right. I guess I should start moving across the paper here. I really want to try to match, and I know I won't be able to, the intensity that these guys are able to get in their inking. We just have two different styles. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try something. Where is it? So when I finished, before I started inking this, I was a little worried about that same question. If I was going to be able to ink it with such intensity. So I started to draw over it again using a graphite pencil. And maybe I can use that as inspiration. So I'll put that back there. I like what I was able to do with the eyes. Give a little bit more effort in the eyes. So let's see if we can match a bit of what I did there. And I know the first thing I did was finish the crown. Move that. All right. He has hair going over his crown there. It just makes it easier to draw or ink over it than it is to try to ink through the gaps. That way I could be a bit more looser with the inks. I gave him a little bit more. And I can sculpt out. I made his eye bigger. I want to emphasize the crazy look. Sorry if I get quiet, guys. I just start concentrating like nobody business. Start smelling the smoke coming out of my forehead. There's a lot of small details and lines that I really want to go to town on this thing with detail. While also trying to maintain my style while giving full love to what these guys are doing. Did I give him more eye there? You can see the eye, but it's pretty small. I'm bumping into the mic. I'm getting really close to this paint, to this drawing. I really want to sell the crazed look in his eye. Okay. Doing stuff like this really does test your limits and understanding of the art form. We all have such unique styles. And doing stuff like this, you know, the whole draw this in your style craze or like movement. I don't think I've ever done any of those because I always sometimes the theme isn't very exciting. Some drooly. Yep. But I say that because I'm like, maybe I should do something like that more often. But then again, that's all we do, right? That's all we do. Draw things in our style. Give him some stubble. I don't like. I also gotta learn how to do more textures in black and white. I know I'm kind of like talking about everything. There really is no set conversational pattern here, guys. All right. I don't know how I'm going to do that hair. But what I do want to do, I have to start working on his. I'm trying to see if I can match some of those, but I think I'm just going to, you know what? I'm feeling tight again. You gotta, when you're doing something like this, you just kind of like, you gotta let it go. Let's go. But what I want to do is I want to do some. Just make it up. I think the real reason why I'm falling asleep is this soundtrack of mine. I'm not worried about the anatomy here because it's all absurd anyway. I just have to make sure that it looks like what it's supposed to look like, a shoulder, an arm or something. And I'm trying to follow this the shape of the shoulder, that ball shape. As long as I stay in that range, I think I'm going to be all right. And make them lumpy and sinewy. The dude said if I wanted a challenge, and then he disappeared. What did I miss? I'm gonna skip this jam. Whew. We awake? I think it'll read eventually. You guys want to see how? Let me see if I can change the camera angle here. Show you guys how this what I'm using is 11 by 17 comic book paper. I don't know if that helps. That's definitely going to change how it's seen in my stream. I'm not sweating the, like I said earlier, I'm not sweating the anatomy too much, but I am still following the lines that I put down for the pecs and the abs and all that stuff. And I'm trying to stay in the rhythm of those muscle groups, even though I'm certain this body is not anatomically correct. His hair is flowing, but I'm going to draw through that. I'm going to paint through that. If not, I'll just end up getting distracted about it. I'm making the light source from the top left, which is an odd habit of mine. But it's because I'm a righty. I might have to change the way his anatomy is. That's his wrist. I'm going to have to move his elbow here instead of down here. Thanks, Jane. Appreciate that. I just find it really funny in terms of the composition here, the drawing. I added a cloak. The original drawing had his arm out in the void, and it just felt like we was missing something. So I added this cloak so it'll look like he is just removing his disguise, and it just makes me laugh thinking that this giant brute of a man in disguise to rescue the damsel. I'm trying to wing the foreshortening of this arm. I might have to do some other stuff first, but I'm digging it so far. Alright, so that's the new elbow. Making up anatomy while I go. All we really need is a movement. The eye will make up for it. What's up, pandas? How are you? Happy Monday, is that a thing? Let me know if you participate in Happy Monday. If you celebrate. Good to see you. Yeah, like I said, today was a weird day. My schedule was a little bit weirder. Or just a little bit, not weirder, it was just more restricting. And this was the only window I had. And, but I was able to take care of some other stuff, which made the day feel productive. His necklace here. It was a public holiday on Monday, so it was a good Monday. Oh, that's right. You're on a Tuesday. So what was the holiday for you? Seaward says hi. Is that backward for D draws? Alright, I don't know. This might be the hardest part here. His hair. But I think once I put the hair in, it's going to really end up framing the face. Obviously, that's what hair does. But it's so stringy, I don't know if I have the control. All right, let's just get started. See, do you guys hear all the overthinking? It's terrible. It is just what I do. I'm trying to get better at it though. Gunplay Freeham, thank you so much. Hope you have a fantastic day. Again, I don't know if you heard me earlier, man. I thank you so much for your support. You're always sending me appreciation, some love, and I thank you for it, man. It is not unseen, so thank you. It was King's birthday. Okay. And Madalena Toma, is he laughing, yelling, blue face, laughing? Either way, how you doing? Toma. I'm trying to get the frayed brushes to do all of the work for me. I said in the previous stream, I wish, and if you guys know of any white ink that works just as well as India ink, but I don't think there is, I might end up having to use either acrylic or something. I'm trying to get these before the ink runs out and I lose that feathering look, which is what I'm aiming for here. Anything below that is going to be in black. All right, crap. right. I think that's not bad. I probably could have waited to do the hair, but sometimes you just gotta do it. Because it frames the rest of the face, it frames the image, it's a focal point, and it helps as an artist to start seeing certain finishes, in my opinion, of course. It helps me see a little bit of the final image. Ooh. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna flip this. Deleter Manga Ink White, huh? I have a bunch of stuff. I got whiteout. I have I just don't trust myself with it. And even if I use acrylic or even gouache, something heavy, I'm going to end up having to try to feather it to suit my look. It's just going to require some practice. But I think I'll be able to find it. I'll take a peek if I can find it. J. Near, safe travels. Thanks for hanging out with me for a bit. Safe travels, man. God bless you. I hope you get to where your destination is safely and soundly, man. That hair is pitch black. I like it. Ryan Guts says, beautiful ink work. Say thank you. I appreciate that. Guts. I have a piece there I did of Guts from Berserk. And I haven't inked it. Because my artist buddy, Rob Norton, said he wanted to ink it. And I don't think he has. So I sent him a copy. And I didn't want to ink it without seeing what he was going to do with it. Just kind of like as a courtesy. I kind of learned my lesson. There was another artist that I was doing a collaboration with. And he wanted to paint a drawing of mine. So I drew the picture, sent it to him digitally so that he can paint it. Gutierrez. Well, that's what's up, bro. We might be fam. And, where was I? Oh, yeah. So I sent the piece. And then I decided to ink and draw my version. And then I felt like it was like, oh, man, should I have done that? Even though it was my piece. supposed to be a collaboration? Did I do something wrong? Is that an artist foul that I didn't know about? Ruin a art friendship before it even started? He was cool about it, but I felt some type of way. So, guts. I drew guts. Rob said he wanted to try to ink it, so I haven't touched it. For fear that it would ruin art friendship, but a lot of this doesn't make sense. So I'm going to darken here. No, you're right, Ryan. I unless I am looking at heavy duty reference, I have done Dragon Ball Z only staring at Toriyama's work. That's the only way I can do it. Whenever I've tried, people have clowned me and they've been mean to me. But yeah, give me a second and I'll show you how that came out. Because it's not quite manga, not quite anime. Enough in my style where it's recognizable. More comic book style, right? Western style. Trying to put folds where there isn't on a loincloth is not easy. These buff barbarians sure like showing a lot of thigh meat. Everything above the knees. And then again, how many pelts? Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. So all I'm doing, if you guys are interested in how I'm getting those marks, it may be maybe too far on camera because it's such a big sheet of paper and I wanted to show the whole thing, is I'm basically dabbing the brush. Not necessarily pulling, just kind of dabbing and getting just the tapered point and a little bit of weight on the back end, on the end of the tick of the brush stroke. I don't know why that's so comfortable for me to do, but I've done it so much now that I'm pretty good at controlling the weight and direction. It's one of the ways I love to do hair on female hair. As I try to match like the old style of Kirby, Hubert, and the likes. Just trying to add some weight here. And that's all I'm doing. Just that dab. A little dab. the light sources from the top left, his right. So I'm going to darken these a little later. I might end up adding a bit more water to my brush so I can get a wash, so it won't just be strictly in black. We shall see. I'm also keeping in mind that I'm trying not to make the same decision on brush strokes for different textures. I'm going to try not to use that texture again for anything else besides his boots and that. Just to keep it uniform and readable. But hair I might do something similar to her hair when I get there. Hair there. He has a metal girdle, so I just want to emphasize some of this hair here. There's another artist, Sergio Corello. I gotta see his last name. My eyes, I got glasses on, but I can't see. He's the artist of the Action Bible. He went to a graduate of the Kubert School of Comic Arts. But I wonder if I like his art simply because it looks like a modern version of Kubert art. Alright. Stop this for a second. Here, I'll show you. Ryan, if you're still there, let me show you that guts. Get my hand a rest. Mike McCann art. Thank you. Let me scooch it. I don't know if you guys can see the whole thing, but thank you. This might be... The one thing I appreciate about that India ink is that it dries pretty quickly, especially with a little bit of the isopropyl alcohol on it. This might get glare because it's in a booklet, but that is my version of guts. So I try to I might have to take it out of here. I try to respect the manga aspect of it, but I'm unable to. Like I said, without using a ton of reference from the books, but that's as close as I'm gonna get. I mean, I could probably get it. If it was more in tune to what I did, it'll have deeper cheekbones and a cleft chin. There's nothing better than the Kirk Douglas chin. I hope I didn't age myself. Have you guys Googling who Kirk Douglas is? But yeah, I've been wanting to ink this. This is the actual pencils. I've been wanting to ink this, but my homie, he wanted to ink it, so I held back. Which is okay. I think sometimes you gotta let it go. But I might just scan it, see what it do privately. I have too much ink on my table to start moving stuff around, and I don't want to make a mess. All right. Where am I? All right. Let's work on that left leg. I think I might end up keeping a lot of the background for last. Just because. But I'm going to I'm going to use that style of shading here. I've been on a weird study kick lately, looking at a ton of sword and sorcery, looking at a ton looking at a ton of Conan and Tarzan for that matter, and then just to keep me honest, I'm looking at a ton of war books. Like Sergeant Rock. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just dazed out. Sergeant Rock and the Unknown Soldier stuff from DC like that. I'm waiting for a copy of The Nam by Marvel. And for my artist edition of DC's War, I think. Yeah, Spartacus. I think it was Mike. Mike. Appreciate you, man. Nobody had a chin like Douglas, bro. Yeah, so Cubert, man, I have a Sergeant Rock idea I want to do, like a full cover. I've been doing fake covers, and that's gonna be one of my next ones. But Cubert stuff is amazing, man. It really is. Right now, though, for this piece, I'm looking at a Buscema. I'm actually looking at a lot of Buscema. I am cribbing his cover of a Conan book. Here, I'll show you, bud. This is the cover that I'm cribbing or stealing or copying from, whatever you want to call it. The homage is coming from this. I kept the goon. I kept the damsel. I just enlarged them. I have a scan of this and I enlarged it in Photoshop. I removed Red Sonja. And then instead of Conan, I added Battlestar Barbarian from a comic book by Gabe Osley and Stefan Rucksadler. And that is that. So that's what I'm doing. That's what this is. So I'm looking at how I'm trying to follow some of the leg here because I kind of butchered the anatomy. I think it's cool to see to there's some artists I know that I follow that will crib a cover, crib an image, crib something, or copy outright, and just own it like it's theirs. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I try to give credit as much as I possibly can. What's up, Ike? How you doing, man? Happy Monday. Do people say that? Do people say Happy Monday? Not really, right? Should we start? But anyway, how you doing, Ike? Glad to see you as always. Guys, if you want to see an amazing inker, an amazing artist, a masterclass in inking, check out Ike's design. Check out his page. Subscribe to his page. Check out his stuff. You will not be disappointed. Always awesome stuff. I'm doing very well, Ike. Thank you. Mike McMahon says when he does homages, he eyeballs it, no tracing, usually when wind up a mess though. So check this out, man, because you got to use all the tools around you. So I used the grid method to maintain the composition correctly. In my Photoshop file, I have the grid method, one in inch squares. I drew out all the squares on my page, on the original pencils, and just made sure everything was right, because I really wanted to make sure that the title maintained. And where's my Hulk? Check this out. Because I encourage it. I didn't use the grid method very much, if at all. I used it a couple months back for a commission piece of Optimus Prime. And I don't draw robots. I have a hard time drawing cars or I have a hard time drawing a lot of stuff. Cars is one of them. Robots is one of them. I don't know why. It just is. So the commission was for the death scene of Optimus Prime, him on his deathbed, right in the moment where he gives up the I was going to say give up the ghost, gives up the help me out, the matrix of leadership. And I said, okay, let me use this grid method, but I need it just for the composition, for the piece, and for it to look right, and I'll just paint it. I wish I might have, give me a second, it might be on my phone. I don't think I saved it. If you go into my Instagram, it'll be there for sure. Boop, 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 boop. Anyway, it was a success. I had a ton of fun doing the painting. Oh, here we go. Come on now. So this is the painting from that, the drama. Sorry, man. But that's using, I'm sorry if it's blurry, the grid method. I would have maybe been able to do it freehand, maybe. I wanted it to look like it was straight from the cell, and but to allow me to paint it in my style. So what I lacked in originality because of the grid method, I overcompensate with the detail and the damage on the body. And I was like, okay. I had my own kind of weird reasons why I didn't use the grid method. But it feels very mechanical. Funny, considering what this is. It felt really mechanical. It still does. So what I've been doing when I do use the grid method, I still leave myself enough space to use my own style, to paint or draw the way I do, exaggerate something. And it's been all right. I gotta show you this Wolverine painting I did recently using that same method. But it's been something that I started to add a bit to my process. Not every process, but some processes. If it's something that I'm trying to do more precise like this, yeah, I got no problem doing it. I got no problem endorsing it. It's still drawing. You still got to put in the work. When I remember being younger and seeing all these amazing, lifelike, super detailed and realistic paintings and drawings, and then be immediately turned off the moment they bring out the grid. I'm like, and I don't know why. As if I was some traditionalist. I'm a self-taught goober that went to school for graphic design. And maybe that's why. Maybe it was never introduced to me when I was learning to draw. So it's one of those, oh yeah, you gotta do it by hand. No, you don't. No, you don't. You should trace until you can't, until you can copy by eye. So why not? All right, so let me grab that Wolverine. Before I share the Wolverine, we need a palette cleanser, right? We just saw Optimus in his forever sleep, but we all remember Optimus in his most heroic. We should have known. We should have known what was going to happen the moment he said, "No matter the cost." You guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, guess what? Grid method also. This was soon after the forever sleep drawing of and painting of Optimus. I needed a palette cleanser, a spiritual healing image. So I gridded up. You can still see the grid marks on the artboard. This is artboard. This is gouache and acrylic. You know, it helps in terms of practicing and looking at proportions. When I was drawing this, I felt that he looked stocky, even though I didn't change the dimensions of the original piece at all. I didn't stretch it or shrink it. I just enlarged the full piece straight from a screenshot, because I have the movie on digital, because I'm a nerd. I have that on digital and G.I. Joe on digital. So, speaking of, I have the we was talking about war and Kirby. I have the compendium of G.I. Joe, the Marvel years, man. I bought, all I really wanted it was for one issue. I got all the first 50. Anyway, using the grid. We'll put that here. So like I said, you can still be you as an artist. This is still using the grid method. I used it for the composition and the proportion, and then I set it aside. I had basically an outline of the figure and went to beans. There's certain lines in here, like this shading, that line work there is a straight copy of Ramita, but I am giving him his prop. JR. Painted on gouache. I was gonna sell this, but I actually kind of like this one. And then lastly, using the grid method again, this recreation of the Incredible Hulk 224 by Ernie Chan. Ernie Chan, guys, I was talking earlier about being an amazing Conan artist. The only thing I did different is change where the title of the Hulk was. Title of the Hulk is on the top of the comic book page. I shrunk it, put it back here, removed. So he had beat up more. There's more soldiers that got chucked around. This is graphite. I have sprayed fixative on it. So we're going to be ready to paint this soon. So if you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe today. Right now, click on that notification bell so that you will be here when I paint this. That'd be cool. All right, so that's that. All right, let's keep working on this guy here. So far, the combination of inks that I'm using has been pretty good. Inks and the isopropyl. I can't say it. It's been working. So, and I like these containers. These are those sauce containers you get at restaurants. And what I like about it is that it's keeping it from drying. I got a cover for later. All right, where am I? The skull, the knee. The hell's on my... Too much pressure. That's right. Can you guys still see that okay? Just making sure. You let me know. right. About almost 2 hours. Yeah, we're doing all right. I'll probably be on for another 10 minutes or so. I'll definitely be on again tomorrow to finish what I haven't been able to. I just don't know if I'm going to be in early yet in the morning. We'll see what happens, y'all. I'm always afraid to over render, but I've been looking at so much of these pieces, and these guys are never afraid, man. Which is what these guys, meaning the people that I've been studying, like Buscema, like I said, or Ernie Chan and Alfredo Alcala. They get it done, and it looks amazing. So I'm trying to. I don't want to live vicariously through them. I want to draw and create worlds the way they do. I know I keep talking about the old heads, but I can't forget about. I don't even know if I can call them contemporaries because they haven't done anything recently. But people like Frank Miller and the way he inked changed the way everybody did comic books. To this day. Not so much lately, though. But when he was younger, he was holding it down in every aspect. It's a bit difficult to see, but it's because the detail is pretty small. Sorry if I'm blocking the page. As a righty, I made a mistake and I didn't really start on the right. I mean on the left hand side. But I don't tell anybody how they should start or finish any of their work. Right? Different strokes for different folks. I might have to start adding some splotches soon. Right there. I'm gonna have some over his shoulder. I'm trying to think how to do this blade of his. Tell you what, fellas, ladies and gents, we're putting in work. I'm gonna have to darken this over here. This thing probably won't be painted, so I just want to make sure that it reads where the light and the darks are. One of my main regrets is that I wasn't able to print this out perfectly inside the frame of the paper. And even this being my second attempt, so your boy failed. Sometimes you just have to let it fly. And that was a little sad. There wasn't enough. It wasn't enough for a splatter effect. All right, how we doing? All right. Where we at? 2 hour mark? All right. I think this last piece is going to be it. I don't know whether to do full dark shadow or the line work. Ugh. Half? Does it matter? Not really. Trying to give him some rough edges on the ends of those shadows. Like that. Nothing too sharp. Just to give texture to whatever he's standing on. All right, they're connected. I gotta do her shoes. I gotta do the mortar, the stuff he's standing on. But all right. Make sure. Oh, that's black. That's black, black, black. Black, black. Just some texture. Very near. Thanks for swinging through. Unfortunately, bud, I am going to be finishing up very shortly. But I'm so happy you swung through. I appreciate you always. I'm going to make sure that you guys know how much I appreciate you guys spending your days with me, or your evenings. You guys are all over the world. I am having a very nice day. Ooh. I am curious though. Before I leave, is that hard because you had a successful date? But yeah. Alright, let me do the eyes. Oh, you're not unable to sleep, man? Is it because you broke? If you stayed up the other evening, may have messed up your sleep cycle. Some tea, man. Some chamomile. Hey, yo. Congrats. You're very welcome. I mean, it was awesome advice, if I do say so myself. Can't go wrong, man. I'm afraid because I want to do that shadow because I think those are pretty dynamic in this version. Have a good one. Hope you get to sleeping. Take care of yourself. Hey, listen to this music and fall asleep. Guys, thank you so much. I'm going to let the music play me out. It's been fantastic. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and gals. This is Arts of the Round Table. My name is Mello. God bless you. I love you, mean it. Until next time, I'll draw you later. Bye-bye.